Hi, you're watching the Savera. This is Amarpal Singh before you. As we are well aware that tensions are escalating in the Western Asia with ongoing war between US, Israel and Iran also attacking the other Gulf countries. So what kind of effect it is going to have on the Indian economy? To understand this, we are having with us a renowned economist, Dr. KB Singh, who is the director of Ramdas Center for Economic Growth over here. Welcome, sir, to the Savera.
Thank you.
KB Singh ji, what kind of effect this war is going to have on Indian economy? Please brief about it.
First of all, I will condemn the act of war by the US because history has told us that any conflict, conflict cannot be resolved by the war in the long run. In the long run, these are resolved by the bilateral, multilateral ties, agreements, and strategic cooperation. So the war has to be condemned. And in a recently held poll by CNN USA in the USA, 59% of Americans have already condemned it, and there are reports that there is a slogan of change of regime in USA rather than in the Iran, which is the main cause of the conflict. And the impact, as you have already asked me, the impact on the Indian economy. The Indian economy impact on the Indian economy would be by the two ways. Two ways means one is that oil prices may go up. Second, it would be the risk of sentiment. Risk of sentiment is a term where the investors would be going for the safe havens. That is, whatever investment has been done in the Indian market by the foreign institutional investors, FIIs, that are going to be likely to go away from the Indian. There will be outflow of FIIs. And secondly, the NRIs already settled abroad, they remit their savings to India, and that would be subdued because of the risk of sentiment. These are the two basic impacts on the Indian economy. As regard oil prices are concerned, basically, oil prices would be impacted in case a Strait of Hormuz channel is blocked. It is a vital passage connecting the Persian Gulf and the Arabian Sea. And through this channel, 20 million barrels of crude is shipped every day. And this accounts for 25% of the world crude shipment, and 20% of the global crude consumption. If it is blocked, then 50% of the oil import of India would be impacted. Now, question is this, that in case this is blocked, the supply of the oil would be impacted and the oil prices are likely to go up.
It will impact the fuel prices, whether we can say petrol, diesel, or the LPG.
Yes, it will impact prices of petrol, diesel, LPG, and cooking gas also.
Okay.
Cooking gas, we are importing cooking gas also. Basically, there is the chances of blockage of this channel is very less because uh, American military is there in the Persian Gulf, and the capacity of Iran to block this channel is less for a longer period at least. They may block it for some limited period, short period, but in the long period, it may not impact. But for the Indian crude, now question is, in case it is blocked, what impact directly would be having on the Indian economy? Because Indian crude reserve, what is the crude reserve for the India? As per the Government of India reports published in the newspapers, we have a crude reserve of 74 days.
Okay.
Of our consumption. And furthermore, we have forward contracts at the fixed rate for next 74 days.
Okay.
That 74 days reserve is there, 74 days for the next contract, forward contract at the fixed rates are there.
Right.
But going for the adverse scenario, in case it happens, that is, the channel is blocked and crude prices are likely to go up. By what percentage? It may 10%, 15%, 20%. And some says that impact on India would be petrol maybe rupees 115, 125, in the range of 115 per liter or to 125 per liter. Then cooking gas would go up, and import bill of India would go up because the elasticity of oil is inelastic. That is, in case prices go up, we have to import because these are the necessities for the economy. So import will go up, import bill would go up, and current account deficit would go up. And this current account deficit, which is around 1.3% of GDP at present, it may go up to 2%. Some newspapers have said it that it may go up to 2.3%, but I am of this opinion it may go up to 2% of GDP.
Okay. So, sir, which sectors of the Indian economy it has a direct impact on which sectors?
In fact, I would like to, before going to the direct impact on the sectors, I like to tell you two things more. That in case international crude prices go up, Indian government has two scenarios with them: either to pass on the increase to the consumer.
Okay.
Second scenario is that they may cut down their taxes and provide subsidy to keep the ultimate price to the consumer at the same level.
Okay.
In both the scenarios are inflationary. One is direct inflation, that is crude price going up. Second case, when they are going to cut down the taxes on petrol and diesel and petroleum products and give the subsidy, this will impact the deficit financing of the government of India. And higher deficit financing means they have to borrow more. If they borrow more, the government of India borrow more, then the yield on the government bonds would go up. And in case the yield on the government bonds go up, then yield on the corporate bonds would go up. Basically, ultimately, the cost of borrowing is going to go up, and inflation in the economy would be going up. And in case inflation is going up, then GDP would be dampened. Now, coming to your second question, your prime question, that which sectors would be impacted. The first of all, aviation sector, then cement, then paints, chemicals, automobiles. These would be directly impacted in case the crude prices go up. But where the cost of borrowing would go up, each and every sector every sector the entrepreneur borrows from the banks and market. When the cost of borrowing goes up, then the impact would be to the whole economy. Direct impact would be on the aviation, cement, paints, chemicals, and automobiles.
Right. So, as you mentioned that you were mentioning about the crude oil, if government provides subsidy or whether it do not provide the subsidy, there will be the direct or the indirect effect on the consumer as well, because the inflation is going to go up and GDP is going to dampen.
Yes, of course. In case the prices goes up, that is petroleum price, diesel price, and LGP price goes up, and the CPI, there is a weightage is there, and with that weightage, the CPI would go up. That is, consumer price index would go up. Inflation would go up. Now the inflation going up means RBI has to increase their repo rate, which is now in the reducing trajectory. They have to raise the repo rate also. When the repo rate is more, then borrowing from the banks would also go up. So these are the impacts going to have of this war on the Indian economy.
So it would also impact the Indian currency value against, if you see in the US dollar terms.
No, I've already told of about risk of sentiment. When there is a risk of sentiments, that is for foreign institutional investors who have invested in the Indian market, Indian stock market, if they are withdrawing from the Indian stock market, there will be pressure on the rupee. Then again, when NRIs would not be sending the same amount of remittances, there will be pressure on the rupee. Then the import bill, if goes up, that will be the pressure on the Indian rupee. The Indian rupee is likely to be depreciated further. But the silver line in this part is a strong foreign reserves with the Indian Reserve Bank of India of more than 725, nearly 725 billion US dollars is there. Then RBI can intervene and manage the foreign market to reduce the adverse impact on the Indian rupee of this scenario.
KP Singh ji, we know that Russia-Ukraine war is going for past 3 years, and now this is a fresh war in the Middle East. And how you see this is going to affect and can it turn into the world war, and what will be the impact?
In fact, we have seen that Russian-Ukraine war for the last 3 years or so, and even U.S. President Donald Trump has tried to make ceasefire and make some agreement between the two countries, but he has not succeeded. This war, I think, also is going to be a prolonged one. There are many reasons for that. Non-economic reasons are there that this war is likely to be a prolonged one. Now the question is that whether it can be converted into the world war, it depends upon the China. Russia, USA, two major economic powers are already in war. China, the second largest economy, still not showing any inclination to come into the war. In case China comes into the war, and this can be converted into the world war also. And in case it converted into the world war, then India is not to be isolated. India has to indulge in the has to be the part of the world war because of two reasons basically. One is that China is a neighboring country. Second, Pakistan is also our neighboring country, and Pakistan is supporting Iran.
Right. So,
That's
so how long we can judge, or how long the time period, which is the crucial time period, we can say?
I think next 2 weeks or so, next coming 2 weeks or so are very crucial. That will make the picture more clear that whether it can escalate further or subside or even ceasefire can be there, which is at present moment looks to be very dim. Chances of this is very dim. Ceasefire chances are dim. It can subside, and it depends upon next 2 weeks or so are very crucial for the world economy as well as the Indian economy is concerned.
Right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So he is a renowned economist, KB Singh ji, who is director of the Guru Ramdas Center for Economic Growth. So he mentioned that the coming 2 weeks or 2 to 3 weeks, these are very crucial. The picture will be clear that whether this war is going to escalate for a long period of time or not. But it is going to have impact on the world economy as well as the Indian economy. As if we talk about the Indian economy, the inflation is expected to rise, and it will impact the GDP. The GDP will fall down, and if this war turns into the world war, devastating effects can be witnessed. So we will keep updating you. Stay tuned to the Savera for more updates. Amarpal Singh with cameraman Sandeep Singh.